Hello, my dear astrology family. Welcome to the astrology predictions of Venus going retrograde in 2026. I feel like this is one of the most powerful Venus retrogrades that I've ever seen. That is definitely going to bring turning points and changes in everybody's lives. Venus will be stationing retrograde on October 4th of 2026, and at that time is going to be in a conjunction to Mercury in the sign of Scorpio. And it's also going to be making a T-square to Pluto in Aquarius and to Mars in the sign of Leo. That's why I feel like this retrograde season is going to be extremely powerful. We're going to have some sort of tensions and difficult decisions to make. However, the retrograde gets so much better. This is like that classic story that things start difficult, but they end up with so many blessings and opportunities that will be coming our way. And that is because as Venus continues in the sky from October 17th to 24th, it's going to drop that T square to Mars and Pluto, and it's only going to remain that square to Pluto. But from October 27 until it stations direct on November 14, it's only going to be in good aspects to multiple planets. At this time, Venus is going to be in a sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in the sign of Leo, and also in a trine to the North Node in the sign of Aquarius. And Venus is very powerful in the sign of Libra. It is the sign that Venus rules. Therefore, we're going to have blessings, opportunities, harmony, love, money, good relationships coming our way. And we're going to feel like we can breathe after that strong period of the T square. And we're going to feel like life is making sense again. We're going to have some sort of reassessment, definitely, in the area of our lives where we have the sign of Scorpio and Libra. But by the end of this transit, we're going to come out very, very powerful. I feel like this Venus retrograde cycle in the sign of Scorpio, where it starts, is going to bring a deep reevaluation of our personal values, of our truth, and relational power. It's definitely not a light energy. It's going to work at psychological, karmic, and ethical levels, and it's going to ask a lot of us individually but also collectively to confront maybe what has been hidden, what has been avoided, or unconsciously maintained. So I feel like at the beginning of this retrograde season, especially from October 4th to 17th, Venus retrograde in Scorpio is going to expose a lot of uncomfortable truths about value systems, about money, about loyalty and desire as well. There could be issues around financial control, around shared resources, debt, and emotional manipulation that can come into sharper focus. Conversations around this time can become more intense and revealing, and some sort of collective discourse may turn towards taboo subjects such as power imbalances, secrecy, exploitation, or the emotional cost of systems that prioritize profit over human well-being. And we're going to see these themes collectively, like we're going to see news regarding these things or posts on social media or on TV that are going to definitely change our entire perspectives and the way how we view famous people or the way how we view power imbalances in general. Because Venus is going to be in a conjunction to Mercury at the retrograde station, it could be that information, media narratives, and negotiations can play a central role with some sort of leaks, some sort of revelations or revisions, forcing society to maybe reconsider what it truly values. And that T square to Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Leo definitely reflects some sort of collective tension between emerging systems and old power structures. However, as Venus continues retrograde and drops the T square and squares only Pluto from October 17 to October 24, the collective mood can become a bit more introspective and uncompromising. And this can be a stripping away phase where superficial alliances, performative diplomacy, and false harmony can lose their effectiveness. There can be public display around leadership, cultural icons, or institutions that are associated with wealth, with beauty, justice, or morality. They can all bring brought to the attention, and some sort of secret can come out of that, some sort of uncovering of the truth. And that can be a little uncomfortable, but it is so that we dismantle the systems that rely on imbalance or emotional manipulation as well. However, as Venus continues that retrograde cycle, it is going to re-enter the sign of Libra, and now from October 27 until November 14, where Venus stations direct, the collective focus will shift towards restoration, towards justice and reassessment. However, because Venus is still retrograde, this is not a return to the old version of balance, but an attempt to redefine fairness from a more conscious place. There can be collective conversations around law, around diplomacy, relationships between nations or groups, and social contracts gain importance here. What is so special about Venus Venus entering the sign of Libra again is that it's going to have the supportive aspects to Mars, Jupiter, and the nodes, which can definitely suggest karmic releases and course corrections, where outdated alliances or ideologies are going to dissolve to make space for more things that are more fair to people in general. And the trend of the North Node will point towards future-oriented solutions that are going to prioritize cooperation without sacrificing integrity. So at the personal level, this Venus retrograde will act as an emotional and ethical mirror. What I find particularly fascinating is that Venus stations direct on November 14, and the sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the South Node and the trine to the North Node is going to be even more emphasized because the planet will be slowing down, so therefore those aspects will gain a lot more power. Therefore, they're going to bring a lot more blessings, balances, fairness, opportunities, money, wealth, romance, love, for everybody. We're going to experience so much more harmony left and right. And again, Venus is very powerful here in the sign of Libra, and even though it is retrograde, it is still very strong and powerful. So I feel like this is that moment of having to work very hard for something that you finally get rewarded for. And when Venus goes back into the sign of Scorpio, into its direct motion, it is still going to make the square to Pluto, but now we have the knowledge and we have the experience that we need to be able to handle the situation better, depending where we have Scorpio in our chart. So I feel like this retrograde season is going to have a lot of people experience revisiting past relationships, also maybe have to do some sort of financial decisions or creative projects, not necessarily to return to them, but to understand the deeper emotional contracts that were formed. And communication during this time is more honest, but also more volatile, making it essential to speak with intention rather than compulsion. I feel like emotionally, a lot of us are going to be asked to examine where we give too much and where we withhold out of fear, and where desire has been confused with control or survival. Financially, I think this can be a period of reassessment rather than expansion, favoring restructuring, repayment, renegotiation, and where we're going to value clarification a bit more over new commitments. So I feel like at the same time, psychologically, the Scorpio emphasis will bring shadow material to the surface, and then the Libra phase will offer integration, forgiveness, and rebalancing as well. So by the time Venus stations direct, I feel like there's going to be a collective and personal sense of reassessment rather than resolution. And I feel like the outcome is greater emotional honesty, clearer boundaries, and a more conscious relationship with love, with value, and with power. And what emerges is not a return to ease for its own sake, but a more authentic harmony built on truth, on accountability, and mutual respect as well. So this is kind of the overview for this energy, generally speaking. Now, of course, I'm going to unfold and talk about the energies for the 12 zodiac signs. Before you start to listen to this sign, to your sign, please remember to hit that notification button to get notified for all the videos that I'm posting. I am posting a lot of them for 2026 and onward. And remember to show some some support for my work. You can like, subscribe, and hit that notification button, but also comment down below. You know that I always read those things, read your comments, and reply to them as well. Yeah, I can't believe I made it through this video. I've been very sick the entire week, but I'm so happy that I still was able to get this video ready for you. Before you start listening to your sign, remember that I'm a Western astrologer and I follow tropical zodiac. You can start listening to your rising sign and then to your sun sign and your moon sign. Those are going to be the most relatable to you. If you have a stellium in a certain sign, I would also suggest to listen to that one as well. I wish you the best of luck, everyone. Now let's start with the 12 zodiac signs. For Aries, suns, moons, and risings, this Venus retrograde cycle, which will be starting from October 4th of 2026 until November 14th of 2026, is definitely going to be deeply emotional, psychologically intense, and relationally transformative. The fact that Venus rules your second house of money and self worth, and also your seventh house of relationships and partnerships, it means that everything that unfolds during this period is going to be tied to values, to intimacy, boundaries, attachments, finances, and the way that you give and you receive love. Because Mercury is involved in the beginning phase of this retrograde period, there's also going to be a major emphasis on communication, on truth telling, secrets, and clarity of thought. So let's walk through the energy in the order that you are going to be feeling it. So Venus stations retrograde on October 4th in a conjunction to Mercury in the sign of Scorpio in your 8th house. And as Venus stations retrograde here, the mood can become very intense, private, magnetic, and psychologically raw. This energy pulls you into the depths and forces you to confront what is shared, hidden, or emotionally entangled. You may feel as if you are being asked to face truths about intimacy, commitment, trust, jealousy, or financial dependencies that you've been avoiding. And because Mercury here in the beginning is conjunct Venus, deep conversations, confessions, analysis, and revelations can become impossible to ignore. Words here carry extra weight, and conversations that begin now may drastically reshape your relationships. As Venus continues in the retrograde motion in the sky, is going to come to a T-square with Pluto in your 11th house and Mars in the 5th house. And this is definitely going to intensify the pressure. Pluto here in the sign of Aquarius in your 11th house challenges you to examine the power dynamics within friendships, groups, social circles, and future plans. And a lot of you Aries may feel torn between the loyalty that you have to one person and the expectations or influence of a group. So some of you might see manipulation or controlling or transformative behaviors that are going to emerge in your social world. And a lot of you may realize that maybe somebody's hidden intentions need to come to light. Mars here in the sign of Leo in the 5th house will definitely bring passion, sexuality, creativity, and desire to the forefront, but it also adds a sense of urgency, impulsiveness, or dramatic reactions. For a lot of you, your romantic life, your dating experiences, or creative projects may feel volatile or heated, and you may feel a pull between maybe wanting intimacy, wanting freedom, and wanting excitement, all at once. And for some of you Aries, that could be a love triangle, a friendship dynamic, or a creative collaboration that might reach a breaking point where truth might be acknowledged. And because Pluto rules your eighth house and Mars rules your first house and traditionally your eighth house, you are definitely undergoing a psychological and personal transformation at the same time that may reshape your relationships from the inside out. And a lot of you may feel the need to reclaim your power. You might want to assert your boundaries, or you may decide to detach from something that has been draining you emotionally or financially. This period can expose underlying motivations, whether it's yours or other people's, and it could force honesty where things have been unspoken. Now, as Venus continues the retrograde cycle, it from October 17 to October 24, it is going to be in a square to Pluto only and not to Mars anymore. But because it moves out of the T square, the intensity can become a bit more focused. And now Pluto in the 11th house will push a lot of you Aries to maybe decide what kind of people you want to surround yourself with. And a lot of you may reconsider alliances, friendships, communities, or long-term plans that no longer align with your growth. There could be power struggles or deep emotional insights that may surface in social groups or within a relationship connected to your wider network. This aspect often triggers a reevaluation of your trust. A lot of you may be able to uncover a secret, or you may realize a hidden motive, or you may notice a pattern or emotional entanglement that needs to be released. Financially, for a lot of you, this could be a time where joint resources, maybe loans or shared investments that you have with family members or business partners, they may need some sort of renegotiation or deep reflection. When it comes to your emotional world, this period asks you to decide whether you want to transform a connection or to let it die. Now, from October 27 to November 14, Venus will enter the sign of Libra, and it's going to be moving now through your seventh house while making a sextile to the Mars, Jupiter, and South Node conjunction in the fifth house and a trine to the North Node in the 11th house. And I absolutely love this energy because when Venus enters the sign of Libra, the tone will definitely change and dramatically too. The energy here shifts away from crisis, from intensity and shadow work into connection, into harmony and relationship healing and mutuality. Venus in your seventh house will definitely invite reconciliation, maybe refined communication, negotiation, partnership growth, and clear reflections of what you want from someone. The energy here becomes more diplomatic and balanced. A lot of you Aries may experience a sense of relief, as if you can breathe again after deep emotional excavations. Venus sextile Mars and Jupiter in your fifth house opens a window for renewed passion, creativity, romance, and joy. And this is an incredibly fertile, magnetic, attractive aspect that brings a lot of confidence, inspiration, and opportunities for love or creative expression. Mars here gives boldness and desire, and Jupiter gives growth and blessings. And the presence of the South Node definitely brings a lot of karmic themes. For some of you Aries, there could be a past lover that is reappearing, or you might have an old creative project that you want to revive. Or for some of you, there could be a long dormant desire that may come back when it comes to your clear purpose and your direction in life. The trine to the North Node here in the 11th house aligns your relationships with your future direction. And this is the phase where the breakthroughs, the realizations, and emotional truth seeking you experienced in early October start to make more sense. Now you're definitely going to feel more pulled towards people who elevate you, who support your growth, or who align with your long-term goals. Again, there could be a partnership, whether it be like romantic or professional, that may become a pathway to a future vision. Friendships may deepen here, new allies may emerge, and you may feel guided toward communities that reflect who you are becoming as a person. During this time, you may also upgrade your standards in relationships. A lot of connections that are meant to stay will strengthen, and others that are misaligned will naturally fall away. But this period is more about creation than destruction. Now, on November 14, Venus will station direct in your seventh house, and it will be with both supported and fated aspects. The moment Venus turns direct marks a culmination, a resolution, and a turning point in your relationship themes. This is when that sextile to these other planets is going to be the strongest and the most felt. Everything from early October through mid November comes together into a single realization. What you want in love, what you need from a partnership, and what you value in others, and what you no longer compromise on, all of these things will come to the surface, and a lot of you are going to make drastic decisions. The supportive aspect to Mars, Jupiter, and the nodes will make this a deeply karmic and meaningful moment. There could be a relationship that may be rekindled, a commitment that is going to be made, or a new romantic chapter that may be beginning. If you have gone through conflict or separation, this moment can bring clarity, healing, and rebalancing. Creative projects may also receive a breakthrough, and collaborations may align more naturally with your purpose. Again, because Venus rules your second and seventh houses, a lot of you Aries may also experience financial clarity, resolution of shared resources, and greater self worth as well. And because Mercury was involved from the beginning of this cycle, of this retrograde period, the way you communicate and express your needs may be permanently upgraded. So, overall, my dear Aries, I feel like this retrograde is going to teach you how to transform your emotional attachments without losing yourself. And you're definitely going to have to confront the truth in certain relationships. You might need to renegotiate power and to choose connections that reflect your future rather than your past. A lot of you can expect intensity, deep intimacy work, breakthroughs around pleasure and desire, karmic encounters or reconnections, and a major relationship turning point by mid-November. This is what I have for you, my dear Aries, for this Venus retrograde cycle. Is definitely going to be very impactful and significant due to the square and the sextile and conjunctions. But I wish you the best of luck for this period of time. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can hear all the 2026 astrology predictions. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Taurus suns, moons, and risings. Venus is going retrograde from October 4th to November 14 in 2026. And this retrograde motion and cycle is going to take you directly into the heart of your relationships, of your family dynamics, your career identity, and the balance between private life and public life. Because Venus is your chart ruler, every shift in this cycle will feel personal, and it will affect the way that you show up, the way how you relate to others, and how you negotiate your needs, and how you manage the demands of both your relationships and your ambitions. This entire retrograde cycle is tied to the theme of choosing partnerships, whether they're romantic, familial, or professional, that support the life that you want to build. Venus is stationing retrograde on October 4th and is going to be in the sign of Scorpio in a conjunction to Mercury. As Venus does this, it's putting a lot of focus and emphasis in the house of your relationships, of everything concerning partnerships, and they're going to become more heightened, more sensitive, and more introspective for some of you. You may begin to enter a phase of evaluation, reflection, and truth-seeking about your romantic life, about your commitments, your agreements with others, and the expectations placed on you. Because Mercury is conjunct Venus, this period brings conversations that cannot be avoided. And a lot of you may find yourself needing to clarify what you want. You may you may expose unspoken issues, you may negotiate terms, or you may rethink what partnerships really mean for you. There could be old patterns and unresolved feelings rising to the surface, especially feelings tied to loyalty, resentment, fairness, or emotional vulnerability. Venus here is going to also be in a T square to Pluto in the 10th house and Mars in the 4th house. And it's definitely going to bring a lot of intensity and pressure from all sides. Pluto in Aquarius in your 10th house challenges you to examine how your relationships are affecting your career path, your reputation, or your long term goals. You may feel pulled between what your partner needs and what your public responsibilities demand. There could be a power imbalance in a relationship that becomes much harder to ignore. Ambition, social standing, long term plans, or professional changes could also place stress on a romantic connection, and something about the way that you have been compromising may no longer be sustainable. At the same time, Mars in Leo in the 4th house adds heat to the household, the emotional base, or family interactions. Home life may feel volatile or charged. There could be family members that may express strong opinions about your choices or relationship and partnership dynamics. Emotional roots, childhood wounds, or family patterns may also play a significant role in the relationship issues that may be surfing under this energy. A lot of you may feel torn between your partner, your emotional needs, and the direction your life is heading to. And because Mars rules both your 12th house and 7th houses, hidden tensions, suppressed anger, or long standing unresolved dynamics may also erupt and seek resolution. So, this T square here, this combination, brings situations where truth becomes unavoidable, and you may have to make decisions about balance, about commitment, about boundaries, or the direction that a relationship is heading to. You may discover something about a partner's expectations or intentions, or you may realize how much pressure you've been carrying in trying to keep everyone satisfied. The emotional and relational intensity of this period will push a lot of you Taurians to choose clarity about what you need from others and what you can no longer negotiate away. The time that we're gonna feel this T square the strongest is gonna be the between October 4th and 17th of 2026. And now, as Venus continues that retrograde cycle, is going to be on a square only to Pluto from October 17th to 24th. And when Venus moves out of the T square but continues to square Pluto, the energy will become concentrated on the relationship between your partnerships and your life direction. And this can be a phase where you confront whether your relationship structure supports your ambitions or clashes with them. Venus square Pluto often brings moments of emotional honesty that create turning points in commitment, in boundaries, or agreements. And in the 10th house, Pluto will reflect changes in status. It will show shifts in public identity, or it will give you pressure from your career that will also affect your relationships. So, a lot of you Taurians between October 17 and 24, you may feel pushed to evolve beyond outdated agreements or relational patterns. There could be power dynamics that may show themselves clearly during this time, and you may recognize where you've been giving too much, or where you've compromised too far, or where you've held on to something that needs transformation. Financial themes can also arise, especially if shared responsibilities, shared goals, or business partnerships are involved. This period offers a chance to release control, to renegotiate expectations, or to redefine the direction of a partnership. From October 27 to November 14, Venus will re-enter the sign of Libra, and it's going to be in your 6th house, but it's going to be in a sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in the 4th house, and in a trine to the North Node in the 10th house. When Venus enters Libra, the energy releases from the intensity of the 7th house and moves into practicality, into healing, into daily routines and problem solving. This phase focuses on improving the systems and habits that support your relationships and your well being. As Venus rules both your rising and your 6th house, this transit invites you to tend to your emotional health, to daily rhythms, and relational maintenance. A lot of you will become clear about what behaviors nourish you and what patterns drain you. The sextile to Mars and Jupiter in your fourth house brings a creative, expansive, and emotionally expressive energy into your home and family life. This connection can help heal family tensions, renovate or reorganize your living space, or bring optimism back into your emotional foundation. A family relationship for some of you Taurians may improve, or there could be a living situation that may become more harmonious, or you may feel more confident about making changes to your home environment. The South Node adds the possibility of reconnecting with old emotional patterns or people from your past in a way that helps you release what no longer supports you. Meanwhile, the trine to the North Node in your 10th house aligns the healing you're doing in your personal life with your greater purpose and long term ambitions. And a lot of you may feel guided towards a clearer vision for your future, or you may realize which relationships and emotional habits help you grow and which ones limit your progress. This phase integrates your private and public lives, and it allows you to redefine the balance between home responsibilities and career aspirations, and it helps you make choices that elevate both areas rather than force them to be incomplete. So, as Venus moves through Libra and forms these supportive aspects, a lot of you may experience reconciliation, renewed stability in a relationship, or an improvement in the emotional climate at home. Partnerships can become more cooperative and balanced. Practical solutions replace emotional conflict, and clarity replaces confusion as well. Now, on November 14 of 2026, Venus will station direct, depending on where you come in where you live in the world. Give it a day before or a day after. But on this day, it received this wonderful support from Mars, Jupiter, and the nodal axis, and I absolutely love this because the entire story that began in early October, it will reach its peak moment of clarity. And this is going to be a point at which your relationship insights will crystallize into decisions. The supportive aspects from Mars, from Jupiter, and the nodes make this aspect and this moment especially powerful. A lot of you may feel more grounded in what you want from your partnership. You may feel more confident about your boundaries and more aligned with the direction that your life is taking. For some of you Taurians, a relationship may definitely be renewed on healthier terms, or a new phase of commitment may also begin. If something reached a breaking point earlier in October, November brings understanding and the opportunity for resolution. Your home life, your family relationships, and emotional foundation also benefit from this shift, as tension is replaced with a sense of harmony and forward movement. And because Venus rules your first house, you may feel a renewed sense of your own self worth, balance, and inner stability. Venus also rules your sixth house, so your daily life can become smoother, healthier, and more aligned with your long term goals. So, my dear Taurians, you're definitely one of the most impacted signs from this Venus retrograde cycle, and it will ultimately teach you how to integrate your partnerships with your ambitions and your emotional needs. It will reveal where you need balance, where you need to assert yourself, and where healing can unfold because you're using honesty and compassion. This is what I have for you for this retrograde season. I wish you the best of luck, my dear Taurians. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get notified for all the videos that I'm posting for 2026. Please remember to like, subscribe, and to comment down below to show some support for my work. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Gemini suns, moons, and risings. Venus is going retrograde in 2026 from October 4th to November 14, and it is going to be traveling across the axis of health, routine, mindset, communication, belief systems, learning, creativity, and relationships with peers and siblings. Because Venus rules your 12th and 5th houses, the story will be blending themes of subconscious patterns, past karma, pleasure, self expression, romance, creativity, and your hidden emotional life. And because Mercury, which is your chart ruler, is involved from the start, your inner dialogue and mental clarity play an essential role in how the energies unfold. This period will definitely pull a lot of your Geminis inward first, then will turn you outward into a more inspired, creative, expressive, and aligned phase. So on October 4th, Venus is stationing retrograde in a conjunction with Mercury and in a T-square to Pluto in the ninth house and Mars in the third house. And we're going to feel this energy of the T-square from October 4th to October 17th. When Venus stations retrograde here in your sixth house, the focus will immediately turn towards your daily routine, your work patterns, your mental stress, and the way your habits affect your emotional well being. Venus also rules your 12th house, so this retrograde asks you to uncover subconscious patterns that have been running quietly beneath the routines that you have. So, a lot of you may suddenly notice how certain behaviors will drain you, or how certain lifestyle is maybe taking a lot out of your energy, how your work environment maybe affects your mental state, and how much pressure a lot of you have been absorbing without realizing it. So the sixth house also rules your health. So this period may highlight imbalances that need attention, not necessarily as crisis, but as invitations to maybe realign your lifestyle. So, Mercury, your planetary ruler, is going to be conjunct Venus at the beginning of this retrograde and is definitely going to amplify awareness. A lot of you Geminis may realize that your routines with unusual depth or routines that maybe don't feel as real or routines that don't make as much sense, they can become more sensitive for you. And you might realize that physical habits or relationships with coworkers may also have some sort of change, some sort of shift. There could be conversations about responsibilities, about expectations or boundaries. And this is a time when you can understand the psychological roots behind stress, behind burnout, or repetitive cycles. The T square here creates a dynamic and tense push towards realignment. With Pluto in Aquarius in the ninth house, you're going to be challenged about your belief systems, about your worldview or long term plans. And a lot of you Geminis may feel tension between your daily life and your higher inspirations. A lot of you may feel pulled between what you believe you should be doing and what your day to day reality actually allows. This can bring questions about purpose, about direction, or education to the forefront. Mars in the sign of Leo in your third house introduces urgency and friction in your communication, in your thought processes, or interactions with siblings, neighbors, or peers. A lot of you may feel mentally overstimulated or reactive. Conversations around this time can escalate quickly, not because anything is wrong, but because your mind is trying to break out of old loops. And a lot of you are going to be pushed to express yourself more clearly and to confront thoughts that maybe you have suppressed before. Because Mars rules your 11th and 6th houses, frustrations about group dynamics, social obligations, or work communities may also erupt. And this first phase will definitely ask you to examine the relationship between your thoughts, your habits, and your reality. And it can bring moments where you realize that some routines maybe no longer support who you are becoming, and that certain beliefs or thought patterns are limiting your potential. This can be an internal recalibration that sets the stage for creative rebirth for a lot of you. Now, from October 17 to 24, Venus is continues to be retrograde, but is going to now be in a square to Pluto only. And as the T square dissolves and Venus only continues to square Pluto, the focus becomes more philosophical and psychological. Pluto in the ninth house challenges a lot of you Geminis to transform your worldview, your sense of meaning, or your long term plans. And a lot of you may question whether your daily rhythm reflects your larger values. A lot of you may feel drawn to explore deeper truths or to confront internal beliefs that have shaped your choices without your full awareness. So this can be a time of confronting fears maybe related to your future, to travel, to education, to visas, legal matters, commitments. You may receive information that changes how you view your direction, or you may need to make choices that align more closely with your authentic values. Venus square Pluto in these houses can also highlight the mental or emotional cost of old habits or unhealthy work environments. So, this portion of the retrograde is going to be psychologically very deep and is going to let you dive before The creative and expressive relief is going to come later. And I love how this retrograde season ends, because on October 27 to November 14, so from October 27 to November 14, Venus will enter the sign of Libra in your fifth house and is going to be in a sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the south node in the third house, and in a trine to the north node in the ninth house. So when Venus enters Libra, everything changes, and you're going to be moving from the introspective, analytical, and often heavy sixth house matters into the joyful and expressive and romantic fifth house matters. Creative energy now returns for a lot of you, inspiration flows, and pleasure becomes easier again. With Venus in the fifth house, you're going to have your heart opened. A lot of you will activate your desire again. You're going to feel like your imagination is sparking, and you're going to have opportunities for reconnection with joy, fun, and romance. Venus rules this house for you, so her presence here during a retrograde is deeply meaningful. A lot of you may revisit old creative talents, you may reconnect with past romantic interests, you might revive old hobbies, or rediscover your passion for art, for beauty, entertainment, or self expression. If you have children and they live far away from you, maybe they're going to come back during this time to spend more time together, to connect with each other, and to be more joyful and more excited. If you've been feeling drained or overwhelmed earlier during the month, okay, during the first phase of the retrograde season, this other phase is going to feel like emotional oxygen. The sextile to Mars and Jupiter in the third house will fill your mind with enthusiasm, with curiosity, with motivation. Conversations will become lively and inspiring. Ideas for a lot of you will multiply, and you may feel pulled to write, to create, to connect, to express yourself in a way that has been dormant for years. The South Node adds a karmic flavor. Someone from your past may contact you as well. Or it could be that a past idea maybe will return with renewed potential. There could be a sibling or close friend that could play a significant role in your inspiration. Meanwhile, the trine to the North Node in your ninth house also helps you connect to your creativity with your future path in mind, and you may suddenly understand where your passions are leading you. A lot of you Geminis may feel pulled towards bigger dreams, new educational paths, creative expansion, spiritual growth, or new directions in your life philosophy. The work that you did earlier, such as confronting habits and thought patterns, now will pay off as you step into a more authentic and purpose aligned version of yourself. So, this phase is going to bring a sense of harmony between your heart, between your mind, and your future. And a lot of you Geminis will find yourselves inspired to take risks, to express yourself more boldly, or to explore opportunities that broaden your world. Now, on November 14, Venus will station direct in your fifth house with amazing support or continuous support from Mars, Jupiter, and the nodal axis. And I absolutely love this because as Venus stations direct, this degree over here is very important. Because it is going to shift the entire energy of the entire retrograde. And this moment here is going to anchor your new creative identity, your renewed joy, and the clarity that you've gained about what makes your life meaningful. For a lot of you, there could be a romantic decision that will solidify here. There could be a creative project maybe will take shape. There could be a shift in your mindset that will be completed and integrated. And because Venus rules both your 5th and 12th houses, this direct station over here will bring healing to your heart and to your subconscious. A lot of you may feel lighter, clearer, and more connected to what you truly enjoy. Because Mercury was tied to the beginning of the story, understanding will replace confusion and communication will definitely become easier. So, this Venus retrograde season will ultimately teach a lot of you Geminis how to align your daily life with your passions, how to rewrite old mental patterns, and how to open your heart to inspiration and creativity. It shows you the link between your thoughts and your joy, between your habits and your sense of meaning, and between your inner world and your entire future direction. This is what I have for you, my dear Geminis, for this retrograde season for Venus in 2026. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get all the videos that I'm posting for this year. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below, and to show some support for my work. I really, really appreciate everything that you do. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Cancer suns, moons, and risings. Venus is going to go retrograde in 2026 from October 4th to November 14th. And this cycle is going to highlight your romantic life, your creativity, your finances, your emotional foundations, and the deeper psychological and energetic patterns. Because Venus rules your 11th house of future plans and community and your 4th house of home, of roots, and inner security, this retrograde becomes a story about realigning your heart, your desires, and your emotional base with the future that you want to build. This retrograde season begins with intensity and emotional excavation, but then it shifts into healing, reconnection, and inner strengthening. So on October 4th, Venus is stationing retrograde with, or better said, in a conjunction to Mercury in the sign of Scorpio in your 5th house. And at the same time is going to form a T-square with Pluto in the 8th house and Mars in the 2nd house. So when Venus stations retrograde here, your emotional world becomes heightened, especially around love, around pleasure, creativity, children, romantic experiences, and personal expression. You'll begin revisiting desires that you haven't fully explored, passions you may have suppressed, and parts of your heart that maybe have felt neglected. Because Mercury is conjunct Venus, conversations and thoughts about love become more intense and introspective. This period can bring back old lovers, it can revive old creative interests, or it can reopen old emotional chapters that need closure or transformation. The 5th house is deeply connected to your heart chakra, what you enjoy, what lightens you up, and what you feel proud of. And the retrograde here can make you rethink what actually brings you joy. A lot of you, Cancers, may become aware of emotional blockages around pleasure, fear of vulnerability, or outdated stories about love or self expression that you inherited from the past. The T-square here brings powerful tension that forces change. We're going to feel a T-square from October 4th to the 17th. And with Pluto here in the sign of Aquarius, in the 8th house, is going to pull you into deeper emotional and psychological territory. A lot of you Cancers may face issues around intimacy, trust, fears of loss, trauma patterns, or financial entanglements. There's something about your emotional underworld that will become activated. The 8th house influence can dig up old wounds, or it can reveal truths that affect how you open your heart to other people. At the same time, Mars and Leo in your 2nd house pressures a lot of you Cancers to look at your self-worth and your financial stability. You may feel defensive or reactive around your values, or you may find that insecurity or financial stress can affect your romantic life or emotional expression. Because Mars rules your 10th and 5th houses, this can also bring tension between what you want to express creatively and what you believe you should be doing in order to be successful or responsible. So the combination here may bring emotionally charged or transformative moments in love, in creative endeavors, or matters involving children. You may need to confront fears around being seen or being chosen or being vulnerable. A lot of you Cancers may realize where you've held yourself back or where you've given your power away. And this part of the retrograde season may force a lot of you to reclaim your heart and to reconnect with your authentic desires instead of living by old emotional scripts. From October 17 to 24, Venus moves away from the T-square and continues squaring Pluto alone, so the intensity here becomes more focused. This is when deep psychological insights emerge. A lot of you may become aware of how past relationships, heartbreaks, or family histories have influenced the way that you show up in love. There could be a memory, a pattern, or emotional attachment that may surface so that you can finally release or transform it. This phase may also involve financial themes, especially related to shared resources, debts, inheritances, or emotional investments that maybe aren't balanced. Pluto rules your fifth house, so this square can bring a profound reevaluation of what you desire romantically or creatively. A lot of you Cancers may realize that your heart wants something different now, or that you are ready to express yourself more deeply and more honestly as well. So, this can be an emotional detox phase. It will help a lot of you release what has been waiting on your heart so that you can move into the healing that's going to come next. From October 27 to November 14, this is my favorite part of the retrograde. Venus is going to enter the sign of Libra in your fourth house, and it's going to be in a sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in the second house, and in a trine to the North Node in the eighth house. So, once Venus enters Libra, the emotional tone begins to soften and stabilize. The focus shifts from romance and creative expression to your home, to your inner foundation, and your safety and your belonging as well. And because Venus rules this house for you, this is a deeply healing period. A lot of you Cancers may feel pulled to beautify your home, to reconnect with family, or to create a more peaceful emotional environment. Emotional harmony becomes the goal here. A lot of you will have the opportunity to travel maybe to the place where you're from, or where your family is from, so that you can find secrets or find something out about your family, or you can simply reconnect with your bigger family, with your grandparents as well. The sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in your second house strengthens your self esteem, and a lot of you Cancers will begin to feel more confident, more grounded, and more connected to your values. There could be financial opportunities or supportive energy that will arise here. Some of you may find yourself wanting to invest time or energy into creating stability, both emotionally and financially. Old beliefs about money or self worth may fade, and they can be replaced by a renewed sense of capability or deservingness. The trine to the North Node in your eighth house creates a powerful emotional and spiritual alignment. A lot of you may experience deeper healing around intimacy, shared resources, or emotional wounds. A lot of you may form a deeper bond with someone, or you might find that there could be an emotional pattern that has been shaping your relationships. So this phase feels transformative but also gentle, like an emotional rebirth rather than emotional eruption. So this is where the pieces start coming together. The intensity of the early October becomes integrated. Healing occurs in your emotional body here, and your self-worth strengthens. A lot of you Cancers will begin to feel more at home within yourself. You may understand what your heart needs, and you're able to take action to build a life that supports that as well. On November 14, Venus is going to station direct in your fourth house with that continuous support from Mars, Jupiter, and the nodal axis. And everything that has unfolded since early October now becomes clear. This direct station occurs in the house of emotional roots, and it makes it a moment of deep internal alignment. A lot of you may feel that something in your heart has healed or shifted in a very profound way. There could be a relationship, a creative desire, or romantic storyline that will reach clarity. For some of you Cancers, your emotional foundation becomes stronger, and you may feel a renewed sense of belonging or groundedness. Because Venus rules your 11th house, your future goals also snap into focus, and your home and emotional life can also feel more stable and supported. The sextile from Mars and Jupiter gives you momentum to take changes and to make changes. And the trine from the North Node signifies that whatever clarity emerges is karmically significant and part of your larger soul direction. So, this Venus retrograde season is ultimately a journey of rediscovering your heart, of healing old wounds, of strengthening your sense of worth, and rebuilding your inner foundation. It may begin with emotional intensity and transformative realizations, but it's going to end with harmony, with clarity, and a deeper connection to what truly brings you joy and emotional security as well. This is what I have for you, my dear Cancers, for this season. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can listen to all the videos that I'm posting for 2026. Remember to like, to subscribe, and to comment down below anything that you do for me that can be supportive. I really, really appreciate it. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. For a Leo Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Venus retrograde cycle from October 4th to November 14th of 2026 is going to unfold as a deeply emotional and relational reset that begins in the private foundations of your life and culminates in a major personal awakening. Because Venus rules your 10th house of career and third house of communication, this retrograde becomes a story about your public direction and the way you speak, what you commit to, and the deeper relational contracts that shape your identity. When Venus stations retrograde on October 4th, it's going to be in a conjunction to Mercury, but also in a T-square to Mars in Leo in your first house and Pluto in Aquarius in your 7th house. We're going to feel this T-square the most from October 4th to October 17th. And as Venus stations retrograde here in your fourth house of your home, emotional roots, and private life, a lot of you Leos will feel compelled to look beneath the surface of your relationships, and you may feel like you want to confront truths that have been building for a very long time. This retrograde can pull you inward, making you aware of unspoken emotional needs or unresolved tensions within your family life or your inner world. With Venus conjunct Mercury, conversations about the past, memories, shared history, or something that feels buried may suddenly arise. A lot of you will have this feeling that your thinking can become more psychologically perceptive, and you may feel a desire to retreat to understand yourself a little better. The T-square creates a dynamic push and pull across identity, relationships, and emotional security. Mars moving through your first house heightens your desire to assert your needs and boundaries, and your moods may be more reactive as you navigate strong internal shifts. Pluto in your 7th house intensifies relationship dynamics, making interactions feel more fated, more karmic, or confrontational. So, this T-square forces a lot of you Leos to confront whether you have been giving away too much power in relationships or whether your identity has been shaped by other people's expectations. Emotional patterns inherited from childhood may also resurface, inviting you to release them. So, this period can often bring breakthroughs disguised as conflicts, and while it may feel a little heavy, it can clear space for a major rebirth. Now, as Venus continues to do its movement in the sky, from October 17 to October 24, Venus will only be in a square to Pluto, and it's going to drop that T-square to Mars. So the intensity can become more focused on transformation rather than conflict. The square to Pluto can keep your relationships in the spotlight, especially that ones that directly influence your emotional well-being. A lot of you Leos may find yourself revisiting deep emotional attachments, desires, or fears around love, around commitment, or being vulnerable. This period can often bring realizations about who makes you feel emotionally safe and who doesn't. So a lot of you might uncover motifs, either your own or other people's, that can change the way how you relate to others. There could be hidden truths here that will surface under this square that may feel a little destabilizing, but they will definitely empower you in the long run. From October 27 to November 14, Venus will move back into the sign of Libra, into the third house. But as it does so, it's going to be in a beautiful sextile to Mars, Jupiter, the south node in your first house, and in a trine to the north node in Aquarius in your seventh house. And this can be very, very powerful for you, Leos. When Venus retrogrades back into Libra, which is a sign that it rules, the tone of the retrograde can definitely shift and will definitely shift. Again, this retrograde season will start very intense, but as Venus moves back into the sign of Libra, everything will start to make more sense. The emotional excavations of the fourth house transitions that you had will help you move into clarity, into rebalancing things, and have some sort of social realignment in your third house of communication, of your daily interactions, of your siblings, and your personal mindset as well. And during this period, you might feel like your misunderstandings can be repaired and relationships can be renegotiated, and your voice can become grounded and diplomatic again. Venus in Libra softens tensions, and it helps a lot of you Leos articulate what you've understood about your personal needs and boundaries as well. This sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in your first house gives you a sense of renewed confidence and personal momentum. A lot of you Leos may feel that you are reclaiming parts of yourselves that you had forgotten, especially the qualities that can make you magnetic, independent, and creatively expressive. Your identity can feel stronger and more aligned with your truth, and you may receive recognition or support simply by showing up authentically. This is also a period in which old versions of yourself will fall away, such as habits, maybe your physical postures, or self images that no longer serve your emerging direction. All of those things will be released. Simultaneously, Venus forms a trine to the North Node in Aquarius in your seventh house, and therefore it's going to help you in all of the relationships and contracts and agreements that will directly shift your destiny path. People may enter your life who accelerate your growth, or existing relationships and partnerships may rise to a new level of harmony, of clarity, or balance. And this transit can support collaboration, reconciliation, and future oriented partnerships. It aligns you with people whose vision complements your own and fosters connections that help you evolve. This is also a powerful time for committing to a long term relationship or dissolving a dynamic that no longer fits your future direction. When Venus stations direct on November 14, the storyline reaches its completion, and you will emerge from this retrograde with a clear sense of who you are, of what you need, and how your relationships must evolve to be able to support your path. The direct station occurs with harmonious aspects to both nodes, suggesting that the choices that you make around this date can have long-term significance, and they can really put you in your true destiny in this lifetime. There can be a renewed sense of confidence in your relationships, and public life can also emerge here, and your communication can become more elegant, more decisive, and aligned with your higher purpose. A lot of you Leos may feel that you are stepping into a new chapter of relational authenticity and emotional empowerment as well. So by the end of this cycle, a lot of you may have maybe restructured the foundation of your inner life. You might be able to renegotiate the roles that you play in relationships, in your family dynamics, in your home environment with the people that you live with, and you may be able to reclaim a stronger and more balanced sense of self. The changes feel karmic, definitely, but also liberating, and they're going to set the stage for a more aligned future path. So a lot of you Leos are going to come out of this retrograde season more empowered, with more clarity, more charm, more beauty for yourself, but also a clearer version of what direction you need to take in life. And I really love that stellium in your first house, especially with Mars there, because it's definitely going to give you the drive that you need to take on the new direction that you decide to take take after you've gone through the challenges, but also the blessings of this retrograde season. This is what I have for you, my dear Leos. I wish you the best of luck. Please remember to hit that notification button to get notified for all the videos that I'm posting. Remember to like, subscribe, and comment down below. I appreciate anything that you do to support my work. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. For a Virgo sun, moon, and rising, this Venus retrograde cycle from October 4th to November 14th of 2026 is going to be deeply psychological, karmic, and corrective, and is definitely going to help you work through your mind, your body, and value system rather than through obvious outer events at first. When Venus stations retrograde on October 4th, it's going to be in a conjunction to Mercury, but also in a T-square to Pluto and Mars. And Pluto at that time is going to be, of course, in the sign of Aquarius in your 6th house, and Mars in Leo in the 12th house. But as Venus stations retrograde here in Scorpio in your 3rd house, there's going to be an immediate intensification of thoughts here, of communication and perception as well. Conversations around this time can become emotionally loaded. There could be memories that are resurfacing, and your inner dialogue can turn a bit more honest as well. Because Venus rules your 2nd house and 9th house, this moment can link your self-worth, your money, your beliefs, your public identity, and also your career direction in the way how you speak, how you think, and how you process information. And that is because of that conjunction to Mercury as well, which is your chart ruler and the ruler of your 10th house. A lot of you Virgos may revisit old ideas about your purpose, about your career goals, or life philosophy, especially tied to past agreements, to contracts, to siblings, or people that you communicate with in a day-to-day basis. So this period can feel a little mentally obsessive, but it's meant to reveal where you have been compromising your truth or undervaluing your voice. We're going to feel this T-square the most from October 4 to October 17. And this T-square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 6th house and Mars in Leo in your 12th can add some pressure. Pluto is definitely helping you experience deep transformation around work routines, around health and your relationship to control and have power in your daily life, whereas Mars in the 12th house will bring suppressed anger, exhaustion, or unresolved conflicts from the past to the surface as well. So a lot of your Virgos may feel pulled between overthinking everything and sometimes feeling a little powerless or scrutinized in work or health matters, and wanting to escape or like withdraw entirely. So this configuration can manifest sometimes as a little mental burnout. So remember not to do too much or to just balance things out between resting and sleeping enough and taking care of your physical health, but also being responsible and doing the things that you have to do on a daily basis. There could be some fears around debts or finances as well that could come to surface because they demand some sort of acknowledgement rather than avoidance. Between October 4th and 17, this energy is a little more volatile and like hang in there. It's gonna get so much better, like I promise. But words can be very important around this time during this T-square. So be aware of that. If you have been in situations or around people or colleagues that you feel like you've been taken advantage of, you can really be honest with this T-square. Like you can definitely get the attention that you need from your superiors, from your colleagues, from authority figures. If you are looking for a promotion or if you want to just be acknowledged for the hard work that you put in. But keep in mind that the energy can be a little, not the energy, but the communication can be a little explosive due to the squares to Mars and Pluto as well. Now, from October 27, Venus is going to re-enter the sign of Libra in your 2nd house. And the tone will shift in a very amazing way. The focus can move from mental and emotional exhaustion to reevaluating your self-worth, your finances, and your values as well. Venus in Libra here wants balance, it wants fairness and harmony. And during the retrograde, a lot of you are reassessing what you deserve materially and emotionally. When Venus re-enters the sign of Libra, is going to be in this wonderful sextile to Mars, to Jupiter, and the South Node in Leo in your 12th house, and it's going to suggest quiet blessings, behind the scenes support, and karmic releases as well, and old patterns of self-sabotage, of hidden overgiving, or martyrdom, like avoidance, maybe obsessions or addictions as well. All of these things can be gently dissolved, and Jupiter's involvement here can bring protection and grace, even if events unfold privately rather than publicly. At the same time, Venus trining the North Node in Aquarius in your 6th house indicates that your growth path lies in creating healthier systems, routines, and work dynamics that align with your values. What you are releasing in the 12th house directly supports a more sustainable and empowered daily life. And this is a period where subtle choices, such as managing your time, your energy, and money, can have long-term karmic consequences. And because Venus rules your 9th house, your belief system is also being realigned so that your values and your daily actions can finally match. There's going to be a wonderful culmination on November 14 when Venus stations direct, marking a moment of internal resolution and renewed clarity. And this can be a time where a lot of you are going to maybe achieve the promotion that you've been wanting to have. Maybe you're going to have some sort of success when it comes to multiple streams of income. Maybe you're going to understand your values, or you're going to charge more for your services, for your products, and for what you bring to the table in a certain business that some of you may have. And others of you are going to decide to maybe spend more money, or you're going to make changes in your closet, in your wardrobe, because you value yourself more. Like Venus in the 2nd house is definitely going to help you to see clearly what your values are. To see clearly how much you're worth, to see clearly the talents that you have, the passions that you have, the talents and the beauty and the wonderful things that you were born with, things that you didn't have to earn in this lifetime, but things that you are born with. And we are beautiful people. We are beautiful beings without the values that the world puts on us. And that's what the 2nd house here is. So Venus here is going to definitely make you understand your personal values. And as you have this deeper conscious regarding these things, then you're going to ask for more money, because you are going to materialize whatever is happening within you. That's why some of you can achieve some sort of promotion with your job, or you might have some sort of financial windfall with Venus stationing direct here. And with that sextile to Mars and Jupiter, and the South Node and the trine to the North Node, this can be extremely powerful for a lot of you financially. Something will definitely click here into place regarding your worth, your resources, and what you are willing to invest in, whether it's financially, whether it's emotionally, and energetically as well. And decisions made now tend to feel calmer, grounded, and self-respecting rather than reactive. And the trine to the North Node definitely suggests that what you choose to move forward with will support you in the long term, and especially when it comes to your purpose and your personal well-being, particularly in work and health matters as well. So this retrograde season will ultimately teach a lot of you that quiet inner realignments can lead to powerful outer changes, and that honoring your values on a daily basis is the key to lasting stability and fulfillment as well. This is what I have for you, my dear Virgos, for this retrograde season. I wish you the best of luck. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get notified for all the videos that I'm posting. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. For a Libra Sun, Moon, or Rising, this Venus retrograde cycle from October 4th to November 14 of 2026 is going to bring a profound reset of identity, of values, and relational dynamics, especially as they play out through money, through desire, creativity, and social ties. Because Venus is your chart ruler and also it rules your eighth house, everything that unfolds during this period can feel personal, fated, and deeply tied to issues of worth, of intimacy, and power as well. Venus is going to station retrograde on October 4th in a conjunction to Mercury, but also in a T-square to Pluto and Mars. And we're going to feel the presence of the T-square from October 4th to October 17th. And this is happening in your second house. With the conjunction to Mercury, your attention can turn inward towards money, towards self-esteem, towards survival needs, and the emotional meaning that you have when it comes to your possessions and security as well. There can be a lot of thoughts about income, about spending, about debts and shared resources and income that can become a little intense and emotionally charged. There could be conversations around money or values that may be reopening old wounds or unresolved arguments. With Mercury ruling your ninth house and 12th houses, belief systems, subconscious patterns, and hidden fears can strongly influence how you think about your worth around this time. So, in the beginning of this retrograde, you may question whether your current values truly reflect who you are becoming or whether they are inherited from past conditioning, from relationships, or unspoken obligations. The T-square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 5th house and Mars in Leo in your 11th house adds a lot of pressure and urgency, but bear with me because this is going to get so much better, I promise. It's just that the T-square is definitely going to bring deep transformation around romance, around creative expression, pleasure, and power dynamics in love. And the square to Mars can activate a few conflicts too, competition or emotional intensity within friendships, groups, or long-term goals. But this is just the beginning of the retrograde. Things are going to get so much better afterwards. There can be a feeling of being pulled, between personal desires and collective expectations, or between financial self-protection and the need to take emotional or creative risks. So again, there could be some relationship tensions here with Mars being the ruler of your 7th house, and financial issues can be tightly intertwined, and power struggles can arise over here, especially around loyalty, shared goals, or unequal give and take relationship that you might have with someone else. So the energy can feel a little sharp from October 4th to 17. But as Venus continues the retrograde cycle, it's going to be only in a square to Pluto from October 17 to the 24th. And that's when the intensity can become more internalized. You may withdraw slightly to process deeper emotional materials, and you may reassess what truly brings you joy and what drains your sense of power. So this can be a very powerful period for you as a Libra. This is like a stripping away phase, and it's going to expose attachments, maybe rooted in control, in fear of loss, or validation seeking. But from October 27 and onward, when Venus re-enters your first house, your Libra sign, the tone will change in a explosive way, in an amazing way, because the focus will now shift from survival and value concerns to self-definition, to embodiment and personal magnetism. Even though Venus is still retrograde here, a lot of you Libras will begin to reconnect with yourself in a gentler and more authentic way. You may be refining how you present yourself and what you are willing to tolerate. There's going to be a wonderful sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in Leo in your 11th house, which definitely suggests karmic resolutions through friendships, through communities, or long-term visions that once energized you, And now they are coming back for you so that you can receive the support that you need for this new version of yourself that you are going to decide to do with this Venus in your first house. Support can definitely arrive quietly through allies or opportunities that will help you release outdated social roles, maybe people pleasing patterns or goals that were driven by approval rather than passion. Simultaneously, Venus is in a trine to North Node in Aquarius in your fifth house, and it's going to highlight that your evolutionary path lies in reclaiming authentic joy, creativity, and emotional freedom. And that's when a lot of you Libras are going to be encouraged to take creative or romantic risks that align with your individuality rather than your social image. This alignment will favor you in rediscovering passions, talents, or love dynamics that feel liberating rather than transactional. And because Jupiter rules your third and sixth houses, insight gained through conversations, learning, or daily routines now support both of your emotional growth and practical well being as well. So, as Venus moves into the sky from October 27 to November 14, we're going to have these wonderful alignments in the sky that really show a lot of support that a lot of you Libras are going to be receiving from left and right. Blessings and a lot of empowerment as well, a lot of drive and desire to expand, to grow, to gain the knowledge that you need, but to turn it into something material. And it's going to bring some sort of reinvention that people will find you unrecognizable for. And at the same time, with Mars, you're going to have the drive and the desire to push forward against any obstacles, and you're going to have a lot of inspiration here. But with the involvement of the fifth house, this can feel like joy is coming back into your life. This can feel like excitement is coming back to you. And some of your Libras are also going to have support from your children if you have grown up kids. Or it could be that something that is happening in their life can affect you in a very positive way, in a way that's going to bring a lot of joy for you and a sense of a new identity. Now, there's going to be a wonderful culmination on November 14 when Venus stations direct in your first house. This is very special because as Venus stations direct, it slows down, and therefore all those positive aspects that were being made to Mars, to Jupiter, and the nodes, they are going to be even more intensified. So this is going to be a powerful moment of self-reclamation. Clarity definitely returns here around who you are, around what you value, and how you want to show up in relationships and the world. Decisions made now tend to reflect a deeper sense of self-respect and emotional honesty. A lot of you Libras will feel visibly lighter, definitely more confident, and more aligned with your creative and relational desires. This retrograde ultimately teaches you that the true harmony begins within, and that when you honor your own worth and joy, the right relationships, the right values, and community naturally falls into place. So this retrograde season is definitely going to impact you in a very profound way because you're also ruled by, the sign of, the planet of Venus. But it's going to bring a lot of empowerment your way. So take advantage of this time to empower yourself, to fix relationships, and to leave the ones that don't serve you anymore, because you're getting a lot of support from your allies, from older siblings. You're being realigned with your long-term goals and dreams as well. So it is time to dream big, my dear Libras. Again, the beginning of this retrograde season is a little intense, but you will need that intensity so that you make the right decisions and the right changes to reinvent yourself and take on a new direction. And then as Venus stations direct and moves forward again in these degrees, you're going to be smarter, and you're going to have the experience already and the knowledge that you need so that you can push forward and empower yourselves in ways that other people have not seen before. This is what I have for you, my dear Libras, for this retrograde season for 2026 for Venus. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get notified for all the videos that I'm posting, because I'm posting a lot of them. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. For a Scorpio rising sun or moon, This Venus retrograde cycle from October 4th to November 14th is intensely personal and transformative, reshaping how you see yourself, how others respond to you, and how you balance private emotional needs with public responsibilities. Because Pluto rules your first house and Venus rules both your 7th and 12th houses, the themes activated during this period go straight to the core of identity, relationships, and unconscious patterns. That is because as Venus stations retrograde on October 4th, is going to be in a conjunction to Mercury, which will also be in the sign of Scorpio in your first house. But they were also going to be on a T-square to Pluto and Mars. And we're going to feel that T-square the most from October 4th until the 17th. So, when Venus stations here in your first house, you enter a phase of deep self examination. Your appearance, behavior, desires, and relational patterns can come under review, and you may feel more aware than usual of how your words, your presence, and emotional tone affect other people. With Mercury ruling your 8th house and 11th houses, thoughts turn towards emotional bonds, shared resources, power dynamics, and your role within groups or long term visions. Old relationship stories, unspoken resentments, or unresolved emotional entanglements can resurface here, not to haunt you, but to be consciously reworked. So, a lot of you Scorpios may also revisit how much of yourself you reveal to other people versus what you protect, and whether your identity has been shaped by survival rather than authenticity. This T square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 4th house and Mars in Leo in your 10th house creates significant tension between inner emotional foundations and outer ambition. Pluto in the 4th house forces deep transformations around home, around family, and psychological roots, whereas Mars in the 10th house intensifies career pressure, public visibility, and conflicts with authority or expectations. So, a lot of you may feel torn between the need to retreat, to heal, or redefine what security means to you, and the demand to perform, to lead, or to assert yourself publicly. Because Mars rules your 6th and 1st houses, stress can manifest physically or through work dynamics. So it is crucial for you around this time to pace yourself and to listen to your body. So, between October 4th and October 17th, this energy can be raw and confrontational for some of you. You may experience heightened emotions, maybe power struggles, or pivotal conversations that can force honesty, especially with partners, with family members, or professional figures. Your sense of self is being tested here, and situations may arise that show you where you have been overextending, maybe suppressing your own needs, or operating from fear of loss or rejection. But then between October 17 and October 24th, Venus is going to remain in a square only to Pluto and is going to drop the T square. So the process can become a bit more internalized, but it can feel a little lighter than the T square. And a lot of you Scorpios may withdraw emotionally here to process deep realizations about attachment, about control, and emotional safety. And you may be shedding layers of identity that no longer feel true for you. And it can be a very, very empowering. From October 27 to November 14, this is where things get so much better, and you are going to be introduced to a lot of reflection that can be very powerful for you. Venus is going to re-enter here the sign of Libra in your 12th house, and this phase will emphasize healing, forgiveness, closure, and compassion for yourself and for other people as well. Venus retrograde here invites you to release subconscious relationship patterns, hidden grief, or self sabotaging tendencies that have quietly shaped your choices. What is so special about Venus re entering here, the 12th house, is that it's going to be in a sextile to Mars, to Jupiter, and the South Node in the sign of Leo in your 10th house, which is the most visible house of your chart. And is also going to be in a trine to the North Node in the sign of Aquarius. So you're definitely going to have some sort of karmic resolution around career roles, around public identity and ambitions. A lot of you will have some sort of spotlight here around this time that could come due to maybe people helping you behind the scenes, people supporting you behind the scenes, or simply by your personal faith that you've had in a certain process. A lot of you maybe will become an authority figure, or you might go back to some sort of leadership role that you've had in the past. Again, support here can come from behind the scenes or through some conscious decision to maybe step back from certain professional expectations that no longer align with your emotional truth, and instead to step into something new that is going to be more empowering to you and more expansive as well. With Venus trining the North Node in the sign of Aquarius in your 4th house, it can definitely point towards growth through emotional authenticity, through inner stability, and redefining home and family on your own terms. This alignment here can support healing ancestral patterns and creating a sense of belonging that is rooted in honesty rather than obligation. Because Jupiter rules your 2nd and 5th houses, the inner work that you do now can eventually lead to greater self-worth, to creative fulfillment, and even improve material or emotional abundance as well. And we're going to have a culmination on November 14 when Venus stations direct. And as it does so, the planet slows down a little bit, so that sextile is even more empowered. But that degree where Venus stations direct on November 14 becomes so powerful because now the energy is shifting towards forward movement and taking the steps that are needed for you to step into this new role. And this can mark a quiet but powerful turning point for you. A lot of you Scorpios will emerge with a clearer sense of who you are as a person, what kind of relationships you want to engage in, and how you wish to balance public success with private well-being. While the changes may not be immediately visible to others, internally you will feel more grounded, more self-aware, and emotionally independent as well. So this retrograde season will ultimately teach you that true power comes from emotional honesty and self-trust, and that when your inner foundation is solid, your outer life can also evolve with greater ease and integrity as well. And you're going to see this manifest even more when Venus goes back into your sign, in the sign of Scorpio, but now in direct motion. And you're going to manifest a different version of yourself after the inner work that you've done with Venus in your 12th house. As you have Venus in your 1st house in that direct motion, that's when things will manifest more, and a lot of you will step into that authority figure, or you will decide to maybe spend more time with your family and leave some sort of professional arena that is not serving you your true purpose anymore, or is just not good for you during this time. So this period can be very powerful for a lot of you Scorpios, but I wish you the best of luck. This is what I have for you for this retrograde season. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get notified for all the videos that I'm posting for 2026. And please remember to show some support for my work. You can like, subscribe, and especially share this video with other people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. For Sagittarius rising sun or moon, this Venus retrograde cycle from October 4th to November 14 is a deeply introspective and karmic period that will reshape how you relate to your inner world, your beliefs, and the people you connect with mentally and socially. Much of what unfolds happens behind the scenes at first, preparing you for a visible shift into your networks, goals, and sense of belonging once Venus moves forward again. Venus stations retrograde on October 4th in Scorpio in your 12th house, and it's going to be in a conjunction to Mercury, but also in a T-square to Pluto and Mars. And your attention is going to be drawn inward towards subconscious patterns, unresolved emotional material, and hidden relationship dynamics as well. Old memories, past loves, or unspoken feelings may resurface through dreams, through intuition, or quiet realizations rather than direct events. With Venus ruling your 6th and 11th houses, issues related to work environments, to service, to health habits, and friendships are being processed privately, while Mercury ruling your 7th and 10th houses suggests that partnerships and career matters are going to be influenced by what you are sorting through internally. You may realize that certain professional or relational choices have been driven by unexamined fears, maybe, or feelings of guilt or outdated beliefs as well. So, for you, my dear Sagittarians, this T square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 3rd house and Mars in Leo in your 9th house really intensifies mental and ideological tension. Pluto in the 3rd brings deep transformation in how you think, in how you speak, and how you process information, while Mars in the 9th house fuels strong convictions, arguments, or restlessness around belief systems, around education, travel, or legal matters. A lot of you may feel mentally pressured, maybe torn between retreating into silence and feeling compelled to defend your worldview, and being out there in the world and discussing big ideas and having conversations with people. Because Mars rules your 5th and 12th houses, there could be suppressed desires here, creative urges, or hidden anger that can surface through debates or through writing or through some inner conflict that demands conscious expression rather than repression. So, between October 4th and October 17th, this energy is particularly intense and psychologically revealing. A lot of you may feel a bit overstimulated mentally, while simultaneously craving solitude and situations that will expose where you have been mentally self sabotaging or avoiding necessary conversations. But then, from October 17 to October 24, as Venus remains in a square to Pluto, the emphasis shifts towards deeper internal recalibration. There could be old thought patterns, fears, or narratives about yourself that others may dissolve, making space for a more empowered and honest inner dialogue. So the energy here can be a bit more focused because Venus moves away from the square to Mars and it's only in the square to Pluto. From October 27 and onward, so from October 27 until November 14, Venus is going to re-enter Libra now in your 11th house, and this is when things get so much better. The focus now moves outwards, towards your friendships, your community, your long term goals, towards financial wealth, towards financial goals, towards your closest friends, the networks that you have, the people that know you. Even though Venus is still retrograde, a lot of you will begin reassessing who you want to align with and what kind of future you want to build socially and professionally as well. What is so special about this part of the retrograde is that Venus is going to be in a sextile to Mars, to Jupiter, and the South Node in Leo in your 9th house, and also in a trine to the North Node in Aquarius. So therefore here, Venus will suggest karmic resolutions around belief systems, teaching roles, or even travel experiences or visions that maybe once you held strongly. If you've been, for example, a religious person for many, many years, maybe a lot of you are going to reassess that. You're going to reevaluate it. You may think that maybe there have been manipulation happening, especially with the squares to Pluto and Mars, and you may decide to let go of it. Or others of you are going to go back to an old religion that you used to believe in. Others of you maybe will have opportunities to travel with this energy, to go to places that are far away, to travel internationally, and you may do so with a friend of yours. Or you could travel internationally to go see a friend that you haven't seen for a long time. Under this energy, a lot of you Sagittarians maybe are going to reevaluate your visas, your citizenship statuses, green cards, anything that is related to legal matters. There could be some sort of attention here that but in a good way. So you might also get some positive news here, maybe that you've been waiting for a long time. Maybe if you have applied for these things before, you are finally going to hear some news, some good news that is going to realign you with your true purpose. So a lot of you may release outdated ambitions as well that no longer reflect who you are becoming, especially with that south node there. And you might also receive some sort of support through your allies or mentors that you have some sort of karmic ties with. And as you do so, you're going to be realigned more with your long-term goals and dreams for the future. That trine to the North Node in Aquarius also highlights growth through communication as well, through learning, writing, and honest dialogue. There could be new ideas, conversations, or connections that may feel faded, guiding you towards a more flexible, open minded way of expressing yourself. And because Jupiter rules you and your fourth house, this mental and social realignment can support both personal confidence and emotional security. And it's going to help a lot of you feel more grounded in who you are and where you belong as a person. There's going to be a culmination here when Venus stations direct on November 14, because this sextile is going to be very much highlighted, and also the trine to the North Node. But what I really love about it is that when Venus stations direct, of course, it slows down a little bit, and it puts so much emphasis on those good aspects. So whatever decisions you decide to take and to make around this time is going to be very positive. It's going to bring a lot of blessings your way and opportunities as well. It's going to mark a moment of clarity around your role within your groups, within your long-term aspirations, and the kind of connections that truly, truly nourish you as a person. So a lot of you may feel ready to re-engage socially, maybe with a renewed sense of purpose and authenticity. And this retrograde will ultimately teach a lot of you Sagittarius to understand that sometimes periods of withdrawals are good for you, and they're not setbacks, but they are incubators for wisdom. And when your inner beliefs align with your outer communications, your relationships and goals can really evolve into more meaningful and supportive ways as well. So this can turn out to be a wonderful retrograde season that can make you a lot more empowered in the end. This is what I have for you, my dear Sagittarians. I wish you the best of luck. Remember to hit that notification button so that you can get all the videos that I'm posting for 2026 and onward. Remember to show some support for my work. You can share this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below. You know that I always take a look at them. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. For a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Rising, this Venus retrograde cycle between October 4th to November 14 is going to initiate a powerful reassessment of long-term goals, alliances, and the material and emotional investments that support your future. The themes activated are not superficial. They cut into how you define success, security, and loyalty, and how much power you give away in pursuit of recognition or belonging. Venus is stationing retrograde on October 4th, and at that time is going to be in a conjunction to Mercury in the sign of Scorpio in the 11th house. What is very important about this part is that Venus is also going to be in a T-square to Pluto in the sign of Aquarius and Mars in the sign of Leo. We're going to feel that T-square the most from October 4th to October 17. And therefore, your friendships, your professional networks, and long-range aspirations can come under close examination here. A lot of you Capricorns may find yourself revisiting old plans, reconnecting with people from the past, or questioning whether certain group affiliations still align with your evolving values. Because Venus rules your 5th and 10th houses, matters of love, creativity, visibility, and career direction are directly tied to those social dynamics. With Mercury ruling your 6th and 9th houses, practical work and belief systems can influence how you communicate with people, with groups, and conversations that you have about others related to shared goals, ethics, or other responsibilities. But all of these discussions can become a bit more intense and revealing as well. The T square to Pluto in Aquarius in your second house and Mars in Leo in your eighth house adds a strong undercurrent of financial and emotional pressure here. Pluto in the second forces a deep reckoning with self worth, with income and personal power, while Mars in the eighth house activates issues around shared resources, debts, emotional entanglements, and control. And a lot of you may feel caught between wanting stability and independence and being pulled into situations that require deep emotional or financial merging. Because Mars rules your fourth and 11th houses, family dynamics or old emotional conditioning can also resurface here through friendships or financial exchanges, making it clear where loyalty has turned into an obligation. So, between October 4th and 17th, this configuration can feel confrontational and emotionally charged. There could be some power struggles that may arise within friendships or professional circles, especially related to money, to trust, or an equal investment as well. Words here can be exchanged and they might carry a bit more weight, and some alliances may be tested or redefined. However, from October 17 until October 24, Venus will drop that T square and now it's going to remain on a square only to Pluto. So the process can become a bit more internal here. A lot of you may withdraw slightly to reassess what you truly value, to recognize where fear of loss or scarcity has shaped your choices more than having a genuine alignment. But from October 27 and onward, Venus is going to re-enter the sign of Libra in your 10th house. And what is so special about it is that it's going to be in this beautiful sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node, all in the sign of Leo in your 8th house, and also in a trine to the North Node in Aquarius in your 2nd house. So, as Venus re enters here, the emphasis shifts towards career, towards reputation, and public direction. And even though Venus is still retrograde, you begin refining how you want to be seen and what kind of success feels balanced and sustainable. And the sextile to all these planets and the South Node can definitely suggest some sort of karmic release around old financial dependencies, emotional contracts, or power dynamics that maybe once supported your growth but now limit your autonomy. Support here may come through strategic partnerships, through financial restructuring, or behind the scenes assistance that allows you to maybe step forward with a lot of greater confidence. At the same time, the trine between Venus and the North Node in Aquarius in your second house definitely highlights that your evolutionary path lies in building self worth, building financial independence, and values that are truly your own. So, this alignment favors making long term choices that stabilize your resources and reinforce your sense of inner security. And because Jupiter rules your 12th and 3rd houses, there can be a lot of insight here, maybe gained through reflection, through conversation, through prayer, through meditation, or quiet planning that can really help you articulate a clear vision of your future and your public role as well. There's going to be a culmination on November 14, which is a day that Venus stations direct in your 10th house, definitely giving a lot of you Capricorns opportunities to step up into a leadership position, to step up into a role that gives you more visibility, and to gain some sort of authority in your career that is going to bless you in your finances, in your career direction, in your home environment as well. Around November 14, a lot of you may also decide to take on a new career, maybe get a new job, or just change career paths or roles because you feel like now you are more realigned to your true purpose. And then for others of you, if you don't have a job or career, then Venus stationing here direct can give you some sort of visibility, maybe through your social gatherings, or something could be happening in the life of one of your family members that brings some sort of spotlight to you as well. And if you are in social media, you can get some sort of following here, some sort of spotlight that can bring a lot of success your way. And around this time, a lot of you may also define success and authority in your life. Again, there could be major career decisions, a lot of creative direction, and for some of you, there could be some sort of leadership role that can feel more aligned with your values and less driven by external pressure. So, you may decide to even step away from goals that once seemed essential, but that no longer resonate for you. And a lot of you Capricorns may move forward with a clear sense of purpose and self respect as well. So, this retrograde period will ultimately teach a lot of you that true achievement grows from inner stability and authentic values, and that when your foundations are strong, recognition and support also flow naturally. A lot of you will realize who needs to stay by your side when it comes to your friends, acquaintances, and networks, and who needs to be let go because you are stepping into a bigger and a more important version of yourself that can be visible to other people as well. This is what I have for you, my dear Capricorns, for this retrograde season. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get notified for all the videos that I'm posting for 2026 and onward. Remember to show some support for my work. That really goes a long way for me. You can like, subscribe, or share this video with people that you think are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care. For Aquarius suns, moons, and risings, this Venus retrograde cycle from October 4th to November 14 in 2026 is going to be a defining period for your public identity, for your relationships, and sense of personal authority. This period will bring a powerful reorientation of how you are seen, how you assert yourself, and how you balance career ambitions with relational dynamics. Venus will station retrograde in your 10th house, in the most visible house of your chart, and you also will have Pluto moving through your first house. Therefore, the changes that will occur are definitely not going to be superficial. They will reshape both your outer direction and also your inner sense of meaning and belonging. This Venus retrograde season is going to be very impactful for you. You're going to be one of the most impacted signs because Venus will be stationing retrograde in a conjunction to Mercury in your 10th house, but will also be in a T-square to Pluto in your first house and the Mars in your 7th. Therefore, it's activating all of your angular houses, and it can be very life-changing. A lot of you will experience some sort of intense review when it comes to your career, reputation, and public role. A lot of you Aquarians may find yourselves revisiting past professional choices, maybe renegotiating responsibilities, or having pivotal conversations with authority figures. We're going to feel this T-square energy the most from October 4th to the 17th. And with Mercury ruling your 5th and 8th houses, there could be some sort of creative risks, some sort of emotional investments, shared resources, and power dynamics that could be woven into these career matters. And a lot of you Aquarians may become aware of how emotional attachments or financial dependencies have influenced your entire professional path. So this could be a time when your public image is going to be put at risk. So you have to be very careful. But a lot of you at the same time are going to be pushed to communicate more honestly about your ambitions and boundaries as well. So this T-square to Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Leo can create a strong interpersonal tension. Pluto in the first house is already transforming your identity and personal power, while Mars in the 7th is energizing conflicts, passion, and assertion when it comes to your close relationships. So some of you may feel a little caught between asserting your evolving sense of self and also managing the expectations or demands of your partners, whether it be romantic, marriage partner, or business partners as well. And because Mars rules your 3rd and 10th houses, disagreements may center around communication styles, contracts, or professional decisions, making it clear where compromise maybe has been turned into self-erasure or self-neglection. So between October 4th and 17th, This period can feel a little confrontational and catalytic. So please be aware of that. A lot of you might also have some sort of power struggles with an authority figure here as well. Or it could be that you want to take a certain direction in your life or in your career, but you just can't get along with your partner. You can't come into some sort of agreement with your partner. There's some sort of clash here that could be happening. It could be a business partner or it could be a romantic partner as well. And then for others of you, if you've maybe abused your power or your leadership, something can be exposed here. Maybe if you've had some sort of romantic relationship with an employee or something related to that, that can be also brought into a lot of visibility. So be extra careful around this period if you don't want to have some sort of, I wouldn't say scandal, but that could be a possibility as well. Be extra careful. So again, there could be power struggles here that may arise in relationships or public settings that can force you to stand firmly in your truths. Words around this time can alter professional or relational trajectories, and situations may arise that challenge how much authority you are willing to claim. So it can be a little intense. However, from October 17 until October 24, Venus drops that T square, and it's only squaring Pluto. So the intensity can turn a little inward. However, let's not forget that Venus is still in your 10th house. So a lot of you around this time may reassess your ambitions and your relationships at a deeper psychological level. You may realize and you may release roles or expectations that no longer reflect who you are becoming as a person. A lot of you will reclaim your personal power here. Maybe you again will have some sort of power struggles with authority figures because you want to take on a certain direction and maybe they don't agree with you, so therefore you have to have some sort of confrontation with them. However, things get so much better. I promise. Just hang in there. Because from October 27 until Venus stations direct on November 14, Venus is going to re enter the sign of Libra, which is a sign it rules, in your ninth house, which is a very positive house. So the energy is definitely going to lighten and it's going to become more expansive. The focus will shift towards meaning, towards belief system, travels, education, and long-term vision as well. And even though Venus is still retrograde, a lot of you will be reevaluating what truly inspires you and what philosophies guide your life choices. A lot of you will have some sort of good karma coming your way. You may also have some sort of ally or mentor or somebody that supports you and helps you in your career choices that you are going to have some sort of decision on when Venus goes again direct in the same area of the sky in the 10th house. But while it is in the 9th house, you're getting support from your allies, from mentors, from people that are beneficiaries to you, benefactors to you. So take advantage of those situations so that maybe you can make things a little easier for yourself. But if you don't have any sort of power clashes in your work, in your job, this period can talk about maybe traveling back to places you've traveled to before to expand your horizons, but at the same time to get a deeper meaning of your life, of your real direction. You can get a lot of personal empowerment here through philosophies, through what you experience with other people, through foreigners as well, the things that they can teach you. A lot of you maybe are going to go back to studying a foreign language while Venus is in the 9th house. But what is very, very special about this part is also that Venus is going to be in a sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in the sign of Leo in your 7th house, and also in the trine to the North Node in Aquarius in your 1st house. So with that being said, again, you're going to get some sort of support here from partners, from allies, from mentors, and you're going to experience also some sort of karmic resolution in a partnership. It could be that for some of you Aquarians, old relational patterns, agreements, or dynamics can be released here, often through honest dialogue or some sort of shared understanding that certain roles have been outgrown and now you're stepping in a new version of yourself. Therefore, your relationship or your partnership has to grow with you, has to come with you if they want to stay in your life. This trine to the North Node in a sign of Aquarius in your first house definitely highlights a lot of personal growth through authenticity and self alignment. So, a lot of you are being encouraged to embody your truth more fully, even if it means redefining how others relate to you. And because Jupiter rules your 11th and 2nd houses, the clarity gained now can eventually lead to greater financial stability and supportive networks that reflect your true values. Now, when Venus stations direct, we're going to have this beautiful culmination on November 14 because Venus slows down when it stations direct, and that sextile and trine is going to be even more emphasized. This moment is going to mark something meaningful when it comes to renewed confidence and life direction. A lot of you Aquarians may feel ready to commit to a path that aligns with both your personal identity and your higher vision, whether that involves a new professional direction, a shift in relationship dynamics, or a deeper sense of purpose. So, this retrograde season will ultimately teach you that authentic authority comes from self honesty, and that when you align with your ambitions, with your beliefs, and relationships with your true self, both success and fulfillment will flow into your life more naturally. This is what I have for you, my dear Aquarians, for this Venus retrograde in 2026. I wish you the best of luck. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get notified for all the videos that I'm posting for 2026 and onward. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with people that are going to benefit from this. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. For a Pisces Sun, Moon, and Rising, this Venus retrograde cycle that starts in October 4th and ends in November 14 is going to bring a profound period of spiritual, psychological, and emotional reassessment that is going to reshape your beliefs, your daily rhythms, and relationship to surrender and trust. The emphasis is less on the visible side than external changes at first, but very powerfully is going to redirect your entire life path. Venus stations retrograde on October 4th in Scorpio in the 9th house and is going to be in a conjunction to Mercury, but also in a T square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 12th house and Mars in Leo in your 6th house. Therefore, my dear Pisces, your belief systems, your worldview, and sense of meaning will all come under review. You may revisit old philosophies, spiritual teachings, or long held assumptions about truth, about purpose, and faith. There could be a lot of conversations around these themes that can be intense and revealing, especially with partners or family members, since Mercury rules your 4th and 7th houses. If you are a religious person, a lot of you maybe may find out something that you're not necessarily going to like or agree with, and therefore you're going to reassess and reevaluate your standing with it within that certain religion. The 9th house is also the house of legal matters, so some of you Pisces might have to deal with some sort of legal matter around this time. Maybe that is happening behind the scenes, whereas others of you might have an opportunity to travel internationally, but as you do so, maybe you might feel a little more isolated and you might feel like your responsibilities might not be met, your daily responsibilities, because you're traveling, you're going somewhere else. The 9th house is also the house of your visas, of your citizenships, permanent residency cards. So some of you might have to put a lot of emphasis here. Maybe you have to reassess or go back to some sort of documents that you need to submit, maybe some sort of analysis that you have to do regarding documents and paperwork that you have to submit for those things. With Venus ruling your 3rd and 8th houses, Deep emotional bonds, psychological intimacy, and the way you communicate about vulnerable topics can also be intertwined with this reassessment and reevaluation that you may be making around your entire belief systems. Some of you might realize that certain beliefs maybe have been sustaining you emotionally, but at the same time, there could be other ones that have quietly drained your energy or kept you in cycles of self sacrificing. That T square to Pluto in Aquarius in your 12th house and Mars in Leo in your 6th house creates a strong tension between inner surrender and outer obligation. Pluto in the 12th house brings unconscious material, karmic memories, and hidden fears to the surface, whereas that Mars in the 6th intensifies work demands, health routines, and daily responsibilities that, of course, need to be made. So, a lot of you may feel pulled around this time, which by the way is going to be from October 4th to 17th when we feel this T square the most. A lot of you may be pulled between the need to rest and retreat or spiritually cleanse and the pressure to perform and produce and fix practical problems. But because Mars rules your second and ninth houses, issues around self worth, finances, and belief driven actions can manifest through stress or physical fatigue, and they may signal the need for a more sustainable rhythm. So, I feel like a lot of your Pisces are going to listen to your physical body around this time. Make sure to live in the balance because you might, get overwhelmed or burned out or even sick during this time because of so much pressure. And generally speaking, you do very well with listening to your intuition and listening to yourself. But with this energy here, you have to listen more to your physical body. So, again, between October 4th and October 17th, the energy can feel a bit mentally and emotionally overwhelming. You may experience vivid dreams as well and heightened intuition or emotional sensitivity. However, from October 17 until October 24, Venus drops the T square and now remains a square only to Pluto. So the focus can turn a bit more inward, and it can still be a powerful phase of releasing guilt, of releasing fear or unconscious attachments to suffering or sacrifice. And I feel like a lot of you will also be able to release generational patterns, but at the same time, you might gain some good karma back into your life because the ninth house is still the house of good karma. Old belief systems that kept you stuck in cycles of overgiving may definitely dissolve here, even if the process feels a little bit disorienting at first. But things get so much better, my dear Pisces, because from October 27 until November 14, Venus is going to be in the sign of Libra, which is a sign that rules, but it's going to be in your 8th house in a beautiful, powerful sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in your 6th house, and also the North Node in your 12th house. So the tone here is going to shift towards emotional integration, towards intimacy, and shared resources. And even though Venus is still retrograde, a lot of you Pisces will begin renegotiating emotional and financial exchanges in a more balanced and conscious way. That sextile to Mars, Jupiter, and the South Node in your 6th house definitely suggests karmic release through changes in work habits, in service roles, or health routines. Support may come here through adjustments to your daily life that free up emotional and spiritual energy, allowing you to step out of survival mode, which I think can be very powerful for you. And at the same time, that trine to the North Node in Aquarius in your 12th house definitely highlights spiritual growth, healing, and compassionate detachment as key themes. A lot of you Pisces will be guided towards trust, surrender, and a deeper connection to your inner guidance. Because Jupiter rules your 10th and 1st houses, it is your ancient ruler. This inner healing is going to ultimately support greater confidence, more clarity of direction, and a more authentic public presence, even if the outer results can come a little bit later. we're going to have a combination on November 14, which is the day that Venus stations direct. And as we know, when the planet stations direct, it slows down a little bit. But at the same time, it emphasizes even more that sextile to those planets and the trine to the North Node. And it can definitely mark a quiet but meaningful turning point for a lot of you Pisces. Around this time, a lot of you may feel emotionally lighter, definitely more spiritually aligned, and clearer about what you believe in and what you are willing to share, whether it's emotionally, energetically, financially, and materially as well. Some of you Pisces are going to have some sort of financial windfall here, especially through investments, especially through shared resources and finances. A lot of you are going to gain money maybe through the stock market, or if you have clients and customers, people will want to spend money for your services. Others of you might have some sort of decision regarding child support, alimony, all those things that are tied to other people's money. So very, very powerful season here that can come your way. Others of you might be able to pay off a debt around this time, or you might be able to be approved for a loan, especially if you've had to resubmit documents related to it during the retrograde season. And then lastly, some of you are going to end some sort of karmic generational karma around this time that can be very spiritually powerful for you. You might make decisions that tend to honor both your sensitivity and your strength. And I feel like this retrograde will ultimately teach a lot of you Pisces that true security comes from inner trust and spiritual alignment, and that when you honor your need to rest and to have meaning and emotional depth, your outer life also reorganizes in a more powerful, supportive, and sustainable way as well. This is what I have for you, my dear Pisces, for this retrograde season for Venus in 2026. Please remember to hit that notification button so that you can get notified for all the videos that I'm posting for 2026 and onward. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.